Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was directed by David Yates and was released in 2010. And in this movie, our main three are completely isolated in their quest to destroy the Horcruxes, and they must find a way to remain together before the Horcruxes tear them apart. We're on the last two movies, we're on the last two movies, we're on the last two movies. And what a way to start, because this one, this movie's a lot. This movie's a lot. There's some positives, but there's a lot of negatives. Let me just stop and let's just get it right into it. Let's just get right into this review. Starting off with the positives of Deathly Hallows Part 1. This movie very much accurately represents the first half of the book in terms of tone. I mean, you just get this feeling of dread, sadness, just despair. Nothing is going to go right. Even when things go right, you just feel like it's just so sad. The opening credits are all just dark. You can barely see the Warner Brothers sign. You hear just this haunting music of like Lily's theme of the like that thing. The tone of this movie matches the book very well about how isolated they feel and how they feel like there's no true way that they can win. So I do appreciate the movie for matching that tone. Our main three characters are done very well in this movie, as they are in every film, but I do really especially like this one because Harry, for the most part of this movie, still feels like that this is his mission. This is his burden. You know, hence why in the wedding scene, before the wedding scene, he tries to leave and Ron convinces him. And I really appreciate that Harry always feels like this is his burden, this is his mission, how he's the one that needs to take care of Voldemort. But then you see Hermione and Ron, you know, ground him, saying, look, I get it. This is a big mission, but you have us. You have people here to help you that love you. So I appreciate David Yates and his crew for maintaining, you know, those character qualities in Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Yes, they did change stuff from the books a lot, and I'll get into it, but I will say that the three main actors, they did the best with what they had. You know, the big turning point in this movie is when they are so isolated that they don't, I mean, you see them separate. Like, Ron leaves, and Hermione and Harry are just so depressed, and they have so much anxiety, just so much, it's like there's no hope in their body language, the way they talk. I think they did that very well. Yes, they did change things on why Ron left. It was more out of jealousy in terms of really he was just hangry in the book. But I do like Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. They did really good with the material that they were given. And because we're so attached to these characters, literally, you could do anything and we will feel an emotion. So they really know how to tug at our heartstrings when Ron leaves and you see Hermione just crying. You know, you still feel bad. They did alter some stuff, but I did, for the most part, like how they kept that part intact. The visuals in this one are great. The spells still look really good. I really love the action scenes, and especially that forest chase scene. Awesome. That was so cool. In the book, it's so quick. You barely see anything that happens, but I love how in this one, it was actually a very drawn out action scene of them trying to run, trying to, you know, not get tripped by branches or trees, and you see all the spells going on. Really great visuals, and the best visual of the movie was the animation for the tale of the three brothers. Whoever came up with that, that was genius. I loved it. It really felt like you were in a children's fairy tale, so that was very well done. A good way to, you know, describe what the Deathly Hallows represent. There are also a lot of great character moments. Snape, you can tell, is very on the line of where his allegiances lie. You know, in the beginning, he's clearly giving information to Voldemort about where Harry is going to be transported, but you can see in his eyes he is so depressed that a coworker of his was killed in front of him. So you still see him kind of towing the line on where he is. Great character work there by Alan Rickman. Lucius is completely broken as a man. He's trying so desperately to redeem the honor that he has, but he literally has no power. Like when Greyback comes into his house to bring the Potters, to bring Harry, Ron, and Hermione, you see how just like he's just in the corner. He's so desperate. He's clinging to his son to like bring, you know, the honor back to the Malfoy name. It's so sad to see it. Even though he's such a despicable character, you can't help but feel bad for him because at the end of the day, he's one of those characters that, yes, he's bad, but for the most part, he is doing this out of fear. Draco also has some great character moments. He doesn't give up Harry, so Harry has the whole disguise thing and they get captured and he's looking, he clearly recognized him, but he didn't say it was him, so he still, like Snape, is towing that line of good and bad. It seems like he's doing it out of fear because he doesn't want his family to get hurt, But again, even though he doesn't like Harry, he respects him and wants him to live because he knows Harry is the best chance that they've got for Voldemort to die and for them to survive. I've said this before in one of my reviews, but there are sometimes the movie does something better than the book, and the best example I can give in this series is that dance scene between Hermione and Harry. I thought that was so emotional. You know, this movie, like I said, is just so sad. Like, it is a difficult watch. It really is. There's very few uplifting moments, and that is one of the best uplifting moments. Great character work. Harry showing that, look, I'm still here. I'm still with you. You know, at the end of the day, they're still kids. I think, what, they're like 17, 18, technically in the books when this happens. So they're still kids, and that's really sad when you think about it, that their entire childhood has been taken away from them, and they're completely isolated in this winter forest. Their best friend Ron has disappeared. They don't know where he is, and it's just them, and there's no hope. And the fact that Harry goes out of his way to put, you know, to give Hermione a good time, to make her smile, that was just really good. So I really appreciate David Yates and the writing crew for getting that scene in this movie. It was very well done, and it makes me wish that that was in the book. And of course, how can I not talk about the death of Dobby the house elf? This is probably the hardest death in the series for me to like digest. Sirius was sad, Hedwig was terrible, but there's something about Dobby that just breaks me. It really does, because he is just one of the most innocent characters in this series. In all of like pop culture created characters, like he is one of the most purely innocent, amazing characters ever, and when he's taken away from us, you just can't help but shed a tear. And you know, I gotta say, next to Hedwig, I would say Dobby was the most loyal to Harry Potter, especially in the books. I know in the movie we only saw him in Chamber of Secrets, which I still think is a crime, but in the books, he literally helps out Harry without question. So I always appreciate Dobby, and when he died, I was so sad, I was distraught. I remember watching this movie in theaters when it came out, and the entire audience was just in shambles. That we were just broken as people. Like, David Yates had broken an entire crowd. Hundreds of people watching this movie. I still remember it. That's how impactful that death scene was. Now, again, this death would wreck me more if he was in the series more. Why would you take him away from us? Like, why would you only have him in the second movie, then never have him again until this movie, and then he literally dies at the end? Why would you do this to us? There were so many great character moments in all the other books. Why would you deprive us of Dobby, you monsters? And now for the negatives. Where do I even start? Okay, let's just start with the beginning sequence. You know, the whole scene of Harry having to travel with the rest of the Order and all of his friends taking the Polyjuice potion to turn into him, so that way the Death Eaters don't know which one is the real Harry. Okay, I do like the action sequences. The dialogue, for the most part, is really good. But what I can't forgive, what I will never forgive, is how they treated us in terms of the death of Hedwig and Mad-Eye Moody. In the book, Harry is borderline distraught about Hedwig's death. Like, Mrs. Weasley asks him, like, hey, where's Hedwig? And you just see the tears starting to flow because he is just broken down. But even then, in the book, they honestly didn't really treat her death like that big of a deal, which I'm surprised by. Because in my opinion, I think Hedwig was Harry's most loyal companion. More than Dobby, more than Hermione, more than Ron, more than Mrs. Weasley, more than Hagrid, more than anybody. Because Hedwig was always there for him, always sending his stupid letters to Sirius, traveling all these miles to get his dumb letters across, okay? Without question. Super loyal. And when she dies, it's like, it just happened. Like, and especially in the movie, like, he just says no, and then that's it. It's like Hedwig's death never happened. He never reminisces about her. Nothing. I'm sorry, this is just me, but if somebody had killed my pet owl, I would kill every Death Eater I saw. Like, every Death Eater is dying by my wand. I don't care about Horcruxes anymore. I don't care about Voldemort. Everybody is dying tonight. Like, just completely unforgivable. And the same thing with Mad-Eye's death. You know, even though Mad-Eye's happened off-screen and kind of off-book, they just mentioned it. What I did like in the book is when they go back to the Ministry and you see that Umbridge has Mad-Eye's eye, he takes it and he buries it under the most like sturdy and resilient tree, and he has like a nice little ceremony to himself to give Mad-Eye a proper burial. Don't get that, right? They just let Mad-Eye's eye just keep going on Umbridge's door. That was so disappointing. Like, talk about a sad way for a fantastic character to go out. It literally would have taken 2 seconds for them to put that in the movie, of him just taking the eye and having a private burial. Just do it somewhere, anywhere. Why would you take that out? And now for another negative, which is probably equally as horrible. The wedding. What the hell was that? Why is Harry walking about with no disguise on. We are talking about the enemy number one. He is the only person capable of saving all of the wizard world. And he's just walking about the wedding, just, oh, I'm Harry Potter. Everybody's like, oh, look, it's Harry Potter. Why is he not wearing a disguise? He's just walking around all willy-nilly. Mrs. Weasley would never let that happen, especially in the book. But he's just walking around like, oi, I'm Harry Potter. Stupid. Moving on. Anyways, when they get to the Order of the Phoenix house, and that's where they kind of, that's their safe house for months in the book. I don't know why they took out these two important scenes. They didn't show Remus at all. Okay, Remus coming back to the house to check on him, and he's revealing that he is so terrified to be a father, hence why he's thinking of leaving Tonks. That way they're safe, that way nobody harms them. That's such great character work, because again, he is so scared of hurting them, because he's a freaking werewolf. But again, like I said in all my reviews, they just cast aside all the character work for the side characters because they want the main characters to shine. And I can't believe they completely ruined Kreacher. Kreacher had such an impressive emotional arc in the books, how he just hates Harry, hates Sirius, but then finally, Harry and Kreacher reconcile. Like, they actually have a good relationship. He actually takes care of our main three, and he becomes a loyal house elf. But they never show that. He's just so angry all the time, and I hate it. Talk about wasting a great character. All of the house elves are wasted. They are some of the most important characters in the Harry Potter books, and they are completely wasted in this movie series. A very important part of the book that they left out was the memorial of Harry's parents at Godric's Hollow. That was really important because he saw all the messages that witches and wizards gave to him, saying, hey Harry, go kick Voldemort's butt, we believe in you, you're the chosen one, we believe in you, you can save us, you go do it. It motivates Harry. It makes him realize that, no, this war is still going on, and I can do this. We can do this. I have to do this. Whether I am so emotionally cut out, I still have to find myself and just pick myself up and beat Voldemort and find these Horcruxes. But nope. He's just, why? Again, why? I just don't understand why would you cut something like that out. That would have been such a great thing to see from a visual medium, but instead I'm going to have to remember it just from the books itself, which is really sad because that is a very powerful sequence in the book. Another small thing that bothered me, that actually has some big ramifications in terms of the continuity of the books and movies. So in the movie, when Voldemort goes to Grindelwald to find out where the Elder Wand is, Grindelwald just goes, oh yeah, it's with Dumbledore. What? That is not what happened at all in the books. He didn't give it to Voldemort. He didn't say where it was. He didn't say who had it. He didn't say any of that because Grindelwald, as evil as a wizard as he is, one of the most despicable people of all Earth, he loves Dumbledore so much that he refuses to sell out his dead friend and his former lover. That is so important. No matter how disgusting of a human being it was, his one weakness was his love of Albus. And they just didn't address it at all in the movie. He just goes, oh yeah, it's with Dumbledore. Who else do you think it's with? And he just leaves. I'm just like, why? Literally in the book, Gellert just laughs at Voldemort and says, if you're going to kill me, do it. I'm not going to give you any info. And then he dies. But in the movie, he's just left there to rot. And he's just laughing like, it's with Dumbledore. That is one of the most disgusting decisions I have ever seen in this series. Also, why didn't they show Wormtail's death? He just gets knocked out. He gets stunned. He just, ow, balls. His death is so significant because at that time, it's just Remus. And in the next movie, spoilers, Remus dies. So it's the end of the Marauders. But in terms of the movie, Wormtail is still alive. So technically the Marauders still exist. It's small things like that. It's always the small things in movies that bother me the most. His death was very sad. Even though you hate this character, it was a really sad and pathetic way to go out. His own metal hand choking him to death. That is horrible. I get it. Maybe it was a little too much. Do something else. I don't know. But show him dying. It's important that the Marauders all, at the end of the day, are all gone to show a sad end to a once great friendship. Okay. Overall, guys, Deathly Hallows Part 1 is watchable, but it's such a difficult watch because it's so slow, it's so sad, it's so dreadful. I'm not even talking about the stuff that they leave out from the books. Now, as a movie itself, it really is a hard watch. It actually, in my opinion, is probably the least rewatchable out of all of the movies because there's There's nothing like, yeah, who says, yeah, let's sit down and watch Deathly Hallows Part 1. Let me see Hedwig die. Let me see Mad Eye die, and let me see Dobby die. Nobody straight up says that. You only watch it because you're a Harry Potter fan and you're just binge watching all the movies and you know you have to watch it. That's the only reason people watch Deathly Hallows Part 1. So as a movie, I'm going to give it a C+, okay? Because there are some great moments. But in terms of adapting the book, this might be one of the worst ones. But I am going to be kind of nice. I'm going to give it a D. I should give it an F, but like I said, they are some things about this movie that are very good. Snape's character work, Lucius' character work, Draco's work, Dobby's death is done very well, and the emotion there. There's some great moments. But again, from adapting the book, they really leave out a lot of important details that are great for all of the side characters that we love just as much, if not more than our main three, but they just sacrifice it all and it's making me mad, it's making my blood boil. Okay, just leave it as is. As a movie, a C. What was it? What did I say, C+? Did I say C+? I'm gonna say C+, okay? As a movie, C+. And adapting the book, a D. That's how I'm going to leave. I'm so mad I can't even remember the grades I gave these movies. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.